What is up, dudes and lady dudes? Welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today we've got more news for you. We're back on Phantom Rage. We've got a whole new archetype revealed. In fact, it's actually not brand new because they low-key revealed an archetype to us and we didn't know it was a full-on archetype, and it full-on is. So we are looking at the Datascape, but also previously known as the CYBERSPACE. So these cards, we already had 3 cards revealed as promos a little while ago, and I've already looked at them, but I want to look at them real quick before we go into what the rest of the new cards do, just in case we forgot. So these were promos in the OCG. I believe they came in promos in ways that we probably won't get, so they'll get imported some way else, most likely, but yeah, just keep that in mind. Anyway, looking at Datascape Princess Niang. If a level 3 monster is normal or special summoned to your side of the field while this card is in your graveyard except during the damage step, special summon this card, and then if you do, it is treated as a tuner, but banish it when it leaves the field. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except for level/rank 3 or a higher monster, so nothing lower, no rank lowers or no rank or no level lowers, which is fine. That's not even a crazy thing there. If this card is banished, you can target one of your other banished cards and shuffle it into the deck. That's honestly not the worst, little reset, I don't want to call it recursion, but recycling, I guess, is the word for it, of just getting something else that's banished that you might have already gone through back into the deck. She's an extender. I think she's fine. She gets herself on field. That's the main thing there. So nothing crazy there, but I'm into it. Nothing. Just a nice extender for the deck. Next up, we have Datascape Dragon Long. This is a rank 3 monster, but it has to be 2 monsters with the same type and attribute that are both level 3. When this card has material, your opponent cannot target it with card effects. Okay, it's already 24/24. I like that. When your opponent activates the effect of a monster with an attribute that is not on their field while they control a face-up monster, quick effect attached to materials from this card, negate that activation. So it's just a straight-up negate of a monster effect. It's a little bit specific, but I don't think it's the end of the world. So I guess the idea here is if they're activating a monster effect from somewhere outside of the field. So essentially they're activating an effect in hand, in grave, in banish zone, whatever. While they have a monster on field, you can negate it as long as it's not the same attribute as the monster that is on field. So very, very interesting type of negate. It is a negate. It's a little bit specific, but I think it also is a little bit generic as well, because you can't just make a straight up generic rank 3 negate like that. Well, other than the cicada card, the new insect one that got revealed a week ago. Whatever. Anyway, we also have Datascape Beast Zhu. This is a synchro. It's level 6. It takes completely generic materials, 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuners. He cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects while you have 2 or more monsters with the same original type and attribute, but different names in your graveyard. Not the hardest thing to set up in a lot of decks. BA sets that up so incredibly easy. You can you can banish 2 monsters with the same original type and attribute but different names in your graveyard, then target 1 card on the field and send it to the graveyard. So this card is just honestly nice, easy, generic removal. I mean, it's literally like the Golden Lord removal. Target something, send it. It's pretty nice. Non-destruction, 2400 body as well. I think these are nice utility cards. This one's a disruption, not the best disruption in the world, but paired with other ones it could be nice. And this is nice removal. I'm into it. All right, but now for the new card. So I just want to go over those real quick just so we have those in mind in case you forgot them, because I think that could be important here. I have not read any of these, by the way, going in blind. Starting off here, we have Ruru, Datascape Lady, or Rui, is a level 3 wind psychic tuner effect monster. Nice. 1600 attack, 600 defense. You can only use this card's effect once per turn. If this card is in your hand, you can target 1 Datascape card you control. You cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except level or rank 3 or higher monsters. Also send a Datascape card that is a different card type, monster, spell, or trap from your deck to the graveyard, and if you do special summon this card, then you can add 1 Datascape card that is a different card type from the target and the card onto the field from your deck to hand. Okay, holy crap, that effect has a lot going on. I guess the idea is if it's in your hand, you target any Datascape card, monster, spell, or trap, send 1 of a different type. Okay, send 1 of a different type. So let's say, for example, you had a monster. You send a trap. then you special summon this card, then you add a spell, or whatever way it flips around. If there's a spell, you send a trap, add a monster. If there's a trap, you send a monster, add a spell. Whatever it turns out to be. That's actually pretty good, though. I mean, it's just a straight up, it's a search plus ascend at the same time. The restriction is not that bad, locking you into level 3/rank 3s or higher. I like that card a lot. It's kind of a lot going on, but I think once you like break it down to a more simpler version, like I think it seems pretty good. So I am into that. Next up we have Datascape Savant Lao Lao. This is a level 6 wind psychic tuner effect monster, still a tuner, 0 attack, 2400 defense. Okay, so big booty, no attack, and his effect is a hard once per turn. If this card is in your hand, you can target one Datascape card you control. You can add special summon monsters for the rest of this turn, except for level/rank 3 or higher monsters. Again, not a rough restriction at all. Also, send a Datascape card that is a different card type, monster, spell, or trap than that card from your deck to the graveyard. And if you do special summon this card, then you can special summon from your graveyard one Datascape monster with a different name than the card that you sent to the graveyard in defense position, but its effects are negated. Whew. Again, so kind of like the same effect, but like slightly different. You still send something with a different card type, but then you summon him, and then you reborn a monster that's a different name than the card you sent. So that's kind of unfortunate. I wish you could just send something and reborn it immediately. And so it does take a little more setup than the other one, because the other one just grabs stuff straight from deck. It doesn't take as much setup, but still could be a good card. Really good extender here. So I think that's still another good card. Also still a tuner. Not much wrong going on there. Next up we have Datascape ZZ. Okay, this one is a Earth Worm. Psychics and Worms. Okay, it's effect monster, level 3 with 1000 attack, 1600 defense. You can only use his effect once per turn. Ooh. First effect, if this card is in your hand. Have we seen this before? Yeah. You can target one Datascape card you control. You cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except level/rank 3 or higher's. Again, not a rough restriction at all. Also, send a Datascape card with a different type from monster, spell, or trap from that card from your deck to the graveyard. And if you do special summon this card, also during the end phase, you can add one Datascape monster from your graveyard to your hand, except for him. So he's a little bit slower, but he does just get you he is a +1. He's kind of a Skarm, but from grave. So just add any of the Datascape monsters back. I kind of wish this was any Datascape card, because it seems like it's really easy for the archetype to just send any like Datascape card, monster, spell, or trap. So it'd be nice to get like the spells and traps back, but we also haven't even seen what those do yet. So, you know, baby steps. I still think this is a pretty good effect. I mean, like, I don't know. It summons itself for free. It foolishes a card for free, which I'm assuming there's synergy there. And it gets you a +1 on the end phase. Follow-up or potentially disruption once we see like what else is going on here. Next up we have Datascape Keelan Linlin. I like this guy. It looks like a gazelle. Cool gazelle guy. This is a level 6 Earthworm effect monster, 1800 attack, 600 defense. So kind of a beater, but again, a worm. Really weird. Anyway, hard one's return. Let me know if you've seen this before. If this card is in your hand, you could target a Datascape card you control. You cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except level/rank 3 or higher's. Also send a Datascape card with a different type, monster, spell, or trap from that card from your deck to the graveyard. And if you do special summon this card, then you can send one Datascape card that is a different card type from the target and a sent card from your deck to the graveyard. So this one is just a full-on send everything. It's send 2. So if you had a monster, you target that monster, you send a spell and a trap. After special summoning this, you have a spell, you send a monster and a trap. I'm assuming there's synergy there. We're gonna get to the rest there, but honestly, like, worst case scenario, like, even if you think like, okay, the sends aren't even that good, like, they all just at least get on the board extremely easy. All you have to have is any like Datascape card face up, and they can just keep extending, which seems pretty good, honestly. I think this one seems like the best one so far, and then from there, maybe I'd say this guy, and then this guy, and then this guy. I'm not entirely sure, though. We have to see spells and traps. All right, moving on, we've got Datascape Fox Sian. He is definitely a boss monster. He's a level 9 wind psychic synchro effect monster with 2800 attack, 2400 defense. He is completely generic, takes one tuner and any one or more non-tuners. You can only use this card's second and third effects once per turn each First effect, ooh! Any card sent to the grave from the graveyard, sent to the graveyard from the field is banished instead. That is already phenomenal. Yeah, I mean, that's already like really good. Obviously, it's only field to the graveyard, but still, that's already like pretty nasty. Second effect, when a monster you control declares an attack, you can return one of either player's banished monsters to the graveyard. Huh. Okay. I mean, I guess there's like recursion effects there because we already saw that like Niang banishes herself. So it does just kind of return her to the graveyard because that's where she like extends from the grave. So that's actually pretty cool. And the last effect, during your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish 2 other monsters with different original type and attribute from your graveyard to special summon this card from the graveyard. So it does just come back. Okay. So it doesn't have a disruption, but it does have a pretty good floodgate effect. So like pair that with this guy. I know they're like a little bit particular, but in the right matchups, those things are nasty for sure. All right, next up we've got a new XZ. This is Datascape Shell Jia, a rank 3 Earthworm. XZ's effect monster, 1,000 attacks, so pretty small, but 2,400 defense, so big booty. Completely generic, 2 level 3 monsters, 2 or more level 3 monsters. First effect, once per turn, you can attach 1 material from this card, then target a face-up monster you control. It cannot be destroyed by battle until the end of your opponent's turn. Okay, just battle protection, and it's only for 2 turns. You could have just made it permanent. And also, once per turn, after damage calculation, if this card battled an opponent's monster and there are 2 or more monsters with the same original type and attribute in your graveyard, you can banish that opponent's monster. Okay, so that actually makes this a lot more interesting because now this essentially just becomes like, what is it? Zodiac Whiptail. So now this card can just like fight something and then just like banish it after battling. And that's whether or not it has the battle protection, which is pretty cool. I think that's fine because it does just add like non-targeting, non-destruction removal for monsters to this deck. Like obviously I don't think it's like the craziest thing, but maybe just like a quick one of in case you do just run into a situation where there's just like a, I don't know, like a BLS Link or like the Master Endymion, just like weird things with like good protection, like targeting and destruction protection. I still think it could come up. It's fine. All right, and our last Exceed here is Datascape Phoenix Fang. I think he looks awesome. He looks like a weird like cockatoo thing. He's a rank 6 Earthworm Xyz effect monster, 2,600 attack, 2,000 defense. He's completely generic, any 2 or more level 6 monsters, and his second effect is a hard once per turn. First effect, once per turn, you can attach 2 materials from this card and target a face-up card your opponent controls and 1 card in either graveyard and banish them. Yo, that's actually pretty dang good. Wow. Okay, so just target any face-up card they control and a card in either yours or your opponent's graveyard and just banish them. So that's kind of like a halfway to Trishula. Or, well, I guess 2/3 of the way to Trishula, which is honestly pretty good. Second effect, if this Exceed summon card is destroyed by an opponent's attacking monster's attack or an opponent's card effect, you can special summon 2 Datascape monsters with the same original type and attribute from your deck. That's honestly also really nice. I mean, like he's just a 2,600 beater even after you use the removal that like your opponent at all costs does not want to destroy. This card's pretty nice. All right, and then we move to the spells. This is what we've been waiting for, right? We have Datascape Capital Jiu Long. Actually not a field spell, interesting enough. It's the capital, though. It's a normal spell card. You can only activate 1 per turn. Place 1 Datascape Gate card directly from your deck face up in your spell and trap zone. Then apply the following effects in sequence based on how many Datascape Gate cards you control. Okay, so the gates specifically. Okay, if you add 2 or more, then Datascape monsters you control gain 200 attack for the rest of the turn. Okay, whatever. 3 or more, send the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard. Okay, just milling. 4 or more, 4 specifically. Special summon up to 4 Datascape monsters with different names from your extra deck. What the fluff? Wow, that's crazy, like, payoff. If you can set that up, that's absolutely insane. And this one gets you 1. So if you get 3 from somewhere else, you could just straight up drop like 4 of your extra monsters all at once. That's insane. Okay, that's so strong. All right, let's look at some of these gates, okay? We're going to start off with Datascape Gate Qinglong. This is a continuous spell. You can only use this card's first and second effects once per turn each. First effect, you can banish one Datascape card from your graveyard to target a face-up monster on the field and negate its effects until the end of this turn. Not a quick effect, but I guess when you're playing in like the mid-range game, just like either trying to bait out a negate, like force an opponent's negate like immediately, or just like shut them off, is pretty nice. Not the worst, but not the best. Second effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard to add one Datascape monster from your deck to your hand, then send one card from your hand to the graveyard. Interesting. I still think that's a really good graveyard effect. I just think the send is interesting. Some of them are good in grave, so like honestly, I'm not even that mad about it. That could even be better, just to get stuff from your hand to the graveyard if you want it there, like Niang Niang. All right, nice. And then our last card that we have here is a trap. It's Datascape Gate Zook. Whatever. Continuous trap card. You can only use this card's names first and second effects once per turn each. First effect, you can target one face-up card on the field, shuffle 2 of your banished Datascape cards with different names into the deck. Shuffle 2 of your banished. So they have to be banished already to the deck, then destroy the target. Okay. I mean, honestly, it's a quick effect. It's disruption. That's another thing. Like, I was looking for a little more disruption out of this archetype, but honestly, I'm not mad because if you combine this disruption with the with the graveyard like floodgate effect of this card and the monster negate of this card, that's honestly like not too shabby. And then we look here at our last effect. During your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard to target one Datascape monster you control. Have it either gain or lose 3 levels / ranks. I'm not exactly sure how that comes up. I guess we'll have to see. Well, I guess you could just be like moving like the main deck monsters levels so that they can go into whichever, Xyzs or synchros you wanted to. But I guess why would you ever be changing the ranks of like the Xyzs? I don't know why you would ever be doing that, but that's pretty much it. Sorry guys that this video is so long. Felt like this is a really interesting archetype. Let me know what you guys are thinking. This archetype looks so dang dope to me. I seriously think that a lot of these cards look really clean. I think it's really fun. I think they have a ton of potential. I think the potential in this archetype seems through the roof because like the restrictions are not to this archetype. They have some wonky extra deck monsters that do pretty niche things, and you kind of probably wish they could do some somewhat generic things, but we did also just get that other rank 3 that's completely generic, and it is just like I think a monster negate, right? The insect guy, which is pretty good, and other stuff that you could be using in here. Dante, just milling cards could be interesting here, so there's plenty of other stuff. That stuff we'll take care of when we get there, but definitely let me know your thoughts down below, guys. I really want to hear what you guys think on this archetype. Do you think this has a huge potential? I'm feeling a ton of potential here. You're sending a ton of cards for free. You're you're like getting ads for like and special like a special summon from hand, and then also like an ad like super easy in this deck. I don't know. I think it seems pretty dang interesting, to say the least. So definitely let me know your thoughts down below on this archetype in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I love you guys. Peace.